We don't want to spend any money.
I think we should have an equal mix of Republicans and Democrats, because that will ensure that we have 4 departments.
There are numerous planning agencies, biologists, ecologists, and wildlife specialists who will address the task force at no cost to the village at all.
Yeah, we'll take any
We can
recommendations.
start with Marty Jones.
Sure. I think the task force can certainly reach out.
Okay, I think we beat this thing to death enough. Any other comments?
Are we going back on the table with this?
Yeah, I think so.
Back on the table, Bill.
So moved.
Need a motion?
He moved, I seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Table this, Bill Svatic motion.
Table.
Without
Table it again.
On a voice vote or a royal voice vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Amen.
Okay.
Nice try.
Approval of funds for engineering service for phase 1 design of proposed bike path along Deerfield Road. We have somebody to talk about this.
Yes, hi, good evening. My name is Lena Hoffman. I am the North Suburban Coordinator for the Active Transportation Alliance, formerly the Chicagoland Bicycle Federation. We are a nonprofit, member-based organization. We have about 6,000 members, and we represent the entirety of the region, so we're not just strictly based in Chicago. The mission of our organization is to make biking, walking, and public transit safe and convenient so that we will achieve a significant shift from the sedentary travel that's harmful to the environment to a fun, active form of travel. We advocate for transportation that encourages and promotes safety, physical activity, health, recreation, social interaction, equity, environmental stewardship, and resource conservation. We are the largest, again, the largest bike ped organization in North America. This proposed bike path, we believe, would have an enormous amount of benefits, including reducing traffic congestion, providing non-motorized access to Riverwoods and nearby communities, such as Buffalo Grove and Deerfield. And we believe that it will increase safety and the health of Riverwoods residents. Currently, 65 of all trips are under 1 mile and are taken by motorized vehicle. 28% of them are less than 1 mile, and 50% of them are 3 miles or less. This path would allow residents to shift from that mode of travel into a more active form of travel. As you already know, it would link up the existing trails, the newly completed Deerfield Road and the Des Plaines River Trail, especially once Lake County DOT is completed. But in addition to that, the Smoky Valley Trail, which is now being proposed by 4 municipalities, Wilmette, Northbrook, Northfield, and Glenview, would also connect an east-west route that would connect to this Deerfield path. So this would also provide access for the residents of Riverwoods to be able to access the northern suburbs, their neighbors, which are closer to the eastern end there. Bike paths are the safest way to commute by bicycle. The danger index on a bike path is 0.67, as compared to riding on a sidewalk, where the danger index rises to 5.32. 5.32 more times likely to hit a pedestrian or to be in some sort of crash. So this bike path would greatly reduce the risk of danger. In addition, obesity rates are up nationally, and that includes Illinois, where over the past 13 years, the obesity rate has gone up over 10 percentage points, almost doubling its rate since 1995. Options like walking and biking can help enable people to lead more active and healthy lifestyles without putting so much pressure on their joints. Finally, I understand that funding could be particularly helpful. I know that Riverwoods can tap into funding sources like the Municipal Capital Improvements Plan, which is kind of tight this year, but they are very much investing in bike paths and pedestrian access. You can also tap into Illinois Transportation Enhancement Programs, CMAQ money, congestion mitigation and air quality funds, as well as possibly a Safe Routes to School program, or the Illinois State Bike Path Grant Program by IDNR. We support wholeheartedly the proposed bicycle path, particularly because multimodal access for residents is good for the environment, good for the local economy, and good in decreasing congestion. I would greatly appreciate your consideration of this path. Thank you.
All right, I want to call everybody's attention, this is not for the bike path, this is just for a study which cost $91,000. And the bike path is still a long way away, but it's the first step to a possible bike path, which, you know, it took, I don't know how many years to get that path on Riverwoods Road built, about 20 years?
Close to it.
Close. So, I mean, this is something that I would recommend that we do. It would, again, it's the first step. All it is a study, which would make us ready for a grant.
Which would make us eligible then to be able to receive federal funding from a number of the sources that were cited.
It's absolutely imperative that you have a project that is shovel ready.
This will make our project shovel ready. So, but then the next step is to spend a lot more money. But that's, again, something that I think, I haven't heard too many people who are objecting to this, so we'll get to that answer in a minute. Any comments from the trustees?
Yeah. When Pat first brought his proposal to us, the board talked about whether or not we wanted to make sure that the villagers were really in favor of this. So one of the things that we did was basically survey the residents along the south side of Deerfield Road, where we're talking about where the proposed path might go. And so everyone here has a summary of those conversations that either Leslie or I had with those people. And basically, there were 2 people who were opposed, and everyone else that we talked to was either open to the idea or in favor of the idea. And of course, the concerns that they had are the same concerns you might have if the path were to go by your property, and that is, what might need to get moved and who's going to have to pay to move it and that sort of thing. So I don't think there was anything that was really a surprise.
You also had 5 or 6 people that didn't respond, so.
Yes,
So.
yes, we did. We had just slightly less than half of the people didn't respond at all. So I gave the trustees a summary of that. I also received a significant number of calls and emails supporting the idea of
Which
path.
we've got covered.
And I believe there are some people here, probably, yes, that are nodding, that are in favor of the idea. One of the things, in addition to some of the things that we just heard, one of the things that I hear from a lot of our residents is that they'd like more community. They'd like to have a way to get to one another without getting in their cars. And having a path there would provide this. And one of the things that I just heard recently that I hadn't really thought about but makes really good sense is it also provides access to some of these trails for people with disabilities, particularly people in wheelchairs, that they wouldn't otherwise have, because you're not going to take your wheelchair, hopefully, down the middle of the road. It's just a little too dangerous. So I think in a lot of the village planning things that workshops and seminars, they're talking about communities going green and communities working together and that sort of thing. And one of the first things that they always talk about are bike paths. And so I think this is the future of our village. I think this is the direction we want to go in.
Pat, do you want to make a comment?
Can I make a comment before Pat makes a comment?
Oh, sure. Okay.
I too am very much in favor of investigating the bike path and going forward with the study to do that. That being said, though, I had a couple questions regarding your survey and what it actually says.